Well, that's fine, Seth, but, I'm shy, and so it's still hard for me.
Did you like my shy impression? So I get it. I'm shy too. I've said it before. During the week, you're going to find me here in my house alone, or you'll find me at a cafe with my earbuds in like this, signaling I'm busy, don't talk to me, and an expression on my face like as I'm typing on my computer. So what about the shy people, and why is it actually so amazing and awesome to be shy? Well, if you're like me, there's, what's going on with the shy people? For the people who aren't shy, or maybe the ones who are and just think that this is what it's like for everyone, it's not. For shy people, a lot of times there's not like nothing is going on. There's things going on, but it's all going on up here. So what's going on up there? Well, for a lot of people, and it was for me, it could be messages going through our head, the voice as we're watching. Well, first of all, it's judging. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just a fact that shy people are constantly judging. I say that because shy people are watching, right? They're sitting in the background and they're watching. They're very aware of social situations and very conscious of them. And so they'll see the dynamics, even if it's not involving them, looking at other people, and they see how this is playing out, and they're picking up on body movements, tone of voice, words said. They're just processing all this information, and then they see how it goes out. And as that processing is happening, messages they've been told, from a young age are flashing through, and they're measuring that, and they're checking at results, and they're drawing conclusions. And in a negative case, it's that guy isn't very nice, or that girl is a jerk, or that person isn't very smart. If you're shy and you're aware, there could be a lot, maybe not, but there could be a lot of that going on. For me, there was definitely a lot. I was so judgmental of other people, but guess what? That means I can't go do that either, because then I'm going to judge me. And it's why judging other people is so bad. Not for them, but for you, because then you can't go do any of those things. I remember I received, I was married at one point, and I decided to, basically, we got divorced. And I pushed the situation to divorce. Because I was phenomenally unhappy, and I didn't know how else to handle it and deal with it. And I remember receiving a lot of criticism from people, some of them that were in even were in a similar or a more difficult circumstance than myself. And as I received the criticism, and my heart really fell for those people, because I realized that some of them were in a similar situation, and by criticizing me, it made it even more difficult for them to get out of their situation in a future date if they wanted to. They were really just making things more difficult for themselves. I remember seeing that and just thinking, So kind of as an FYI, that is one of the things that is going on with a lot of people who are shy. We're judging, and these messages that are running through our heads that we were taught, like children should be seen and not heard, could be one of them. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. Some of those are positive. You shouldn't lie, I don't think it applies everywhere. Like sometimes we want to throw a surprise party and we tell the person that we care about, hey, we're just going to go home and have some ice cream. It's not true. There's 100 people waiting to surprise you. But in general, many of those more negative messages aren't even ours. They're from somebody else who was afraid and told them to us, and we accepted it. We picked it up. And so those also keep us shy because we're trying to work within these limitations that other people gave us. Also, it could be that neither of those are true, and sometimes if someone comes up to talk to me and I don't want to talk to them, it's not because I'm shy. I'm just ignoring you. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you want to participate, when you want to share, and you're scared. When you want to make a video and pick up the camera because you have this cool thing to share, but what if, and so that's what's often going on. And if we can at least be aware of it, we don't need to change it, but if we can just see it happening, and if that's the case with you, it definitely was with me, and it's a huge step. Also, really important, if we do see it, we really want to try and not then judge ourselves. In fact, many of us won't want to see it because if we do, we know we'll judge ourselves because we're in the habit of judging in a negative way. So it's almost like a catch-22, but you gotta, if you want to see it and evolve that portion, you gotta at least see it. And maybe it's not true. And if it's not true, then nothing to worry about. But the part that I really want to get to, especially for the shy and introverted people, is the fact that you guys have a huge reward waiting for you, much bigger than the people who are naturally outgoing or who don't have these fears. If by going through this course and by evolving this portion of yourselves, the reward for you will be way bigger, way huger. Part of that can be summed up in the phrase that behind our greatest fears lie our greatest joys. Pausing for effect. Say it again. Behind your greatest fears lie your greatest joys. So I'll give you an example. I'm not afraid to build a sports car and take it out and race it. I'm absolutely not afraid of that at all. Because I don't care about that. That's not my thing. Would it be fun? Maybe the driving part. Would it be interesting to learn? Sure. It's, what if I go out to Daytona and I'm going to race? Am I scared? No. If I lose, I lost. That's it. Okay. It's just not my thing. But getting on stage, oh. It's one of the reasons I was so scared. Because it was so important to me. It was so important. To this day, if it isn't my greatest joy, because there are some other things that I'm slowly beginning to love, but it probably still is. If I'm really honest, it probably still is my greatest, if not my second greatest joy. What I'm saying is, literally, we can all do this. If you want to get the most happiness out of your life, you're not going to like the answer, but it works. You just look for the things you're scared of. Now, I don't mean like getting into a cage with a lion. That's different fear. That makes sense. I would be scared to do that, and I'm not into lions. But for the other things, especially like getting on camera, things like that. Those are, if we can find the things we're scared of and just go for that, your happiness and joy is going to skyrocket, because right behind that, it's just how it works. So also another thing is that, related to that is the fact that you have so much more to traverse, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Let's take a homeless guy and a billionaire. And let's say that each of them make $100. They work for the day and they make $100. The homeless guy will probably be ecstatic. I'm going to guess. I don't know how much homeless people make on the street. Maybe they make more, but let's say this guy doesn't. He gets $10, $20. Today he gets $100. Someone just gives him a $100 bill. How happy is he going to be? He's going to be through the roof happy. The billionaire, he works for the day and gets $100. How happy is he? That probably doesn't even cover the car payment on his Lamborghini. If he even has a car payment, maybe it doesn't cover sending the plane to go get a latte from your special, cafe in New York City and fly it to LA where you're working on a movie. Long story short, he's upset. He's furious. Why is that when you have two different people in the same reaction? Or we have such a different reaction with the same exact thing. The difference is where they're going. So happiness is related to movement, not to staying still. So the homeless person started off here, and the $100 is a huge jump for him. Like, right, if this is like $10, $20, boom, 100, this is where the happiness lies. There's a giant jump. Whereas for the billionaire over here, he's used to this. $100 is, whoa, down here. And that fall, that's the anger, frustration, unhappiness right there. So with this example, when we're looking at someone who is naturally outgoing, right? They're naturally outgoing, and then they overcome some of those fears and they're able to get on camera, no problem. Oh, I'm better. I'm a little bit better. I was already good, but now I'm a little bit better. So there's some happiness there, just that improvement. But then if you're to take the homeless person who started here and got here, if you take a shy, and I'm not saying shy people are homeless, but the shy people who aren't used to this, they can take these same tools and go from being shy to feeling outgoing, feeling free to speak, feeling open. That's a huge jump. Now that'll be tougher for them as well. Actually, it's not that much tougher once you create an alter ego and it doesn't reflect on you. It becomes incredibly easy. But being able to experience that is so much different, that the reward is huge, which is why I so encourage someone who is introverted or who feels shy to go through this course, take it, apply it, and use it, because what you get out of it is so big. Are you going to have to, may there be parts that might be more scary and more difficult? Sure. Probably not much more difficult, but a little bit, but the joy is so much greater. So if you are in that boat, you're in that position where you're a shy person, you're not sure about it, look at how fortunate you are to be able to have this giant jump ahead of you, and you don't even know how that can change your life. That's the exciting part. You don't even know. So many exciting things come from this. So really what I want to say at the end of this video is a huge congratulations if you're shy or introverted and you're going through this course and you're going to make that jump to where you can share some of the amazing things that you have to offer. Because remember, people who are shy and introverted are doing a lot of thinking. They're just not sharing it. and I can guarantee you all of us would love to hear some of the things that you have to share. Elevators. Do you know how elevators work? So what they do with an elevator is they'll build the actual elevator. They'll have the cables that go up to the top. And on the other side of that, they'll put a bunch of weight. They'll put a bunch of weight that is equal, more or less, to the weight of the car. And by car, I mean the little box. I think they call it a car that you step into and that you go up and down in the elevator. By putting weight on the other side, what it allows them to do is they don't have to. So say there's the elevator weighs a ton. Maybe it weighs half a ton. I have absolutely no idea. I'm terrible with numbers. But let's say it weighs half a ton. So instead of lifting half a ton plus the 150-pound person that gets on, they put half a ton on this side, and now they just have to move 100 pounds. So it makes it very easy to move back and forth. In this exercise, we're going to use that principle. Because, when we are a certain way, for instance, when we're really introverted, and you can use this for, really any quality that you have that you would like to be able to switch to the other side. In this case, we're going to balance out being extroverted with being introverted. We're going to look at the good qualities of why we are introverted, why we like it, the benefits of that, but also the negative. Not because we want to be negative, but we want to be a little bit more realistic of where this is holding us back. And then we're going to do the same thing with extroverted. We're going to look at what we like, the benefits of this, but also the drawbacks. And so, because neither one is better than the other, they're just two different ways of being and ways of communicating. Each has their advantages and disadvantages. So by getting really clear on that, it'll allow us to kind of counterweight our introversion so that we realize that they're more or less equal and we can move between the two much more easily. So it starts out, the first question, obviously this is for people who struggle with this, is what do I like about being an introvert? And of course, if there's another quality you're looking to change, you can fill that in. But the first thing we want to do is honor that. Like, I'm introverted, there's things I like about that. For me, I feel it's more meaningful. Being an introvert means that I'm really thoughtful about a lot of stuff. I'm not saying more so than an extroverted, but I think about it in a way that I really enjoy. And I feel like that allows me to be able to have better conversations with people. Maybe for an extroverted person it's different, but for me, it allows me to have better conversations. That kind of gets into the second one. What are the advantages of being an introvert? The advantages are that I'm able to do that. I'm able to have better conversations with better meaningful conversations that are meaningful ideally to both people. And then what do I not like about being an introvert? Well, for me, I don't like that I'm scared to talk to people. I don't like that I'm shy and sometimes pull away. I don't like that. It's not good. I think it would be better if that wasn't something that hindered me. So what about extroverts? What do I like about extroverts? We always want to start with the positive. So I actually love extroverts because when they come up and talk to me, at least if I want to talk to them, they kind of take away the pressure of coming up with something to say. They take care of that. I love that. They usually come up with interesting subjects to talk about. It's great. They just take care of all of that. All I have to do is sit there, listen, maybe answer, and kind of enjoy the show. What do I find challenging about extroverts? For me, what I find challenging is they'll be great in the moment, and then I think, oh wow, I have this new cool friend, and it's going to be great. And then I'll reach out later, and they've moved on and talked to someone else because it's easy for them to talk to lots of people, and then I feel kind of bad. So I find that challenging. with extroverts. So now we're kind of balancing this out. If you can see, there's positive things with each one and kind of a drawback with each one. So now we kind of make it personal to ourselves. We know that we are introverted, but when have you been extroverted? Or under what circumstances can people just not shut you up? Because there are those times for all of us, The settings are just right. We're with people we're really engaged with, and we get on the subject, and we light up like a Christmas tree, and we're excited, and we're just talking. What are those circumstances? Because once we can see that, being extroverted isn't that far out of our realms. We just need to set up the right circumstances for us to be comfortable to do that. Next question, why was I introverted in those moments? Why were you? What is the thing? For me, it would probably be a subject that I'm really interested in, that I think the other person is interested in, and maybe like sharing things where we're both learning, we're both excited. Those are some things. What did I enjoy in those moments when I was more talkative? Right? We're like focusing on the positive and the things that we like about doing that. I love being able to connect with someone, learn from someone else, share something that I learned. Remember, I like to share. That was one of my core values when I did my why early on. Next question. In what circumstance is it an advantage to be introverted? So acknowledging the introversion again. I think when you're one-on-one, it's good. Because I'm in this place where I'm just focused on the other person. To me, those are kind of linked. So that is an advantage. Under what circumstances is it an advantage to be extroverted? Well, when I'm talking on camera here, great. It's great to be extroverted. So it really helps build appreciation about being extroverted while still acknowledging the benefits of being introverted.